Everyone, my name is Dr. Abhi Bardwaj and I'm back with lecture series on science. Today I'm going to talk about the ice storm we had last week in Quebec and Ontario, especially the northeastern part of Canada and US. But as I live in Montreal, I was one of them who lost power for at least 3 days because of this ice storm. And I just want to emphasize that these type of weather activities happening because of the climate change and global warming, and we must understand that the intensity of such activities are increasing year after year because of the gradual climate change which is happening due to the global warming. We need to understand as citizens of this country that the intensity of these type of weather patterns would increase in coming years, and we must take some preventive measures and planning so that if it happens next time, we are better prepared. Something similar or with more intensity happened in 1998 in Montreal, when we lost power for 2 weeks, and there were billions of dollars of loss, and also many people actually lost their lives. And just imagine if something like that happens in the middle of the winter, it would be even worse. Luckily this time we were approaching spring, so the weather was not as bad, but still it was hovering between -3, -2 to 1 or 2 degrees. And this was one of the reasons that the change in the temperature caused this ice storm to be much more worst. Many trees branches fell on the electric wires, and due to that many Quebecers lost their power, and there were about 1 million homes in Montreal area which were without power, and my home was one of them. So I think what we can do is we can learn some lessons, because this has happened twice now, and I think last time when it happened we did not make any changes to the infrastructure so that if something like that happened again, we don't get impacted as badly as we did this time. I think what Quebec government needs to do, and especially the Canadian government needs to do as well, is to make sure that the wires we have are underground, because if we had underground wiring, we wouldn't have faced this sort of problem where so many people losing their power in such a short span of time. And I think one of the key factor here is the wiring has to be underground rather than using old style poles and exposed wires where the tree branches can fall on those whenever there's an ice storm or any type of other storms, and many people will lose the power. So I think first thing need to be done is to prepare ourselves for the next one, because it's not if, but it's when, and it would be happening again. So I think we need to make sure that we tell the government to take right steps so that the impact of these kind of weather patterns can be reduced as much as possible. I know that there is upfront expense to do something like that. For example, bringing entire city wiring underground, that would be a huge infrastructure expense for government. But I think they should gradually probably start doing in the areas which were more vulnerable, also making sure that municipalities cut the branches of the trees wherever they are near or above the wires, because if we take some preventive measures, we would be definitely reducing the impact of such calamities happening due to climate change. And not only this, but there is also possibility of having floods and other situations where we have severe for example snowstorms in Canada. And we need to prepare ourselves to all the different type of scenarios we are put in due to these extreme weather patterns, and make sure that we are prepared as citizens, and also as a government. We need to plan for each one of these situations well ahead and learn some lessons from 1998 until now. We have not learned any lessons, I guess, and we need to make sure that we do learn some lessons this time, and our government takes some steps to ensure that the extent of damage which this ice storm caused, or especially the 1998 one, which was even worse, doesn't happen again. Thank you for watching.